For Macbeth.
Yeah.
All hail Macbeth.
All hail Macbeth. Now, Macbeth, I mean, Shakespeare in general is quite impenetrable to some people. And obviously he is literally the finest wordsmith in history, probably the most famous English writer in history, certainly. And obviously he was a master with the pen, master with his words. You know, he could really write a great script. And obviously it's basically transcribed, essentially. Like, the screenwriters must have had a fairly simple job getting it across and making sure the story was sort of intact as the classic Macbeth story goes. Obviously directed by Justin Kurzel, who is going on to direct the Assassin's Creed movie next year.
Is this the one?
Is this the one?
Is this the one that breaks
following
the
spell? Classic Macbeth story, obviously Michael Fassbender as Macbeth himself, as Lord Macbeth, and Lady Macbeth played by Marion Cotillard. Great supporting cast featuring people like Paddy, Considine, Sean Harris, Elizabeth Debicki, who's been in quite a few films this year, including The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And, you know, the whole cast is very good, you know, but this film, I think it was a bit impenetrable for all of us because of that Shakespearean style, and I think that's probably what our problem with it was.
I found it incredibly hard to follow.
I mean, I could tell, like, I could follow the story, like, most of the time, but I think the language was so impenetrable at points. It was like, I am enjoying this, but I'm not entirely sure what people are saying.
Yeah.
You know, it was that, and it's so well made. It's fantastic.
Like watching The Tribe.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the last 20 minutes of this, they've got to, they use the colour red and orange really, really well. I really like the last 20 minutes.
The whole colour scheme
The whole
is
thing
beautiful.
is beautifully directed. Some great set design as well, and some of the locations they go. So well directed, so well paced as well. You know, it's fantastic performances by Fassbender and Cotillard. You know, great supporting cast, like I said, and you really do feel like in a movie adaptation of a Shakespearean play.
Adaptation.
So, yeah, adaptation. Again,
you're making them angry.
Within that, it is a fantastic success because of that, because it is so well adapted. There you go, that's the right one.
That's right, yeah.
And it is such a great combination of director skills, a great cinematography, great cast, and a great script, which you can tell is very good. And you can follow the story, you know, and enjoy it very much. Not just by looking at it, by enjoying the story and what's going on, enjoying the great performances by the characters. But the language is obviously impenetrable. That's not a negative thing. You know, it is like seeing a play in a cinema, essentially, with big screen actors.
Just because you can't understand doesn't mean it isn't good.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it is well written, even if it's...
Exactly, it's very well. I mean, it's Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't tell well written to Shakespeare. You know, he is.
It's the biggest compliment you can
well
give. It's Shakespeare.
Yeah. It's like Shakespeare.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Well,
you know,
literally is.
it's got a great sort of incidental soundtrack as well.
Yeah,
and that's one of my favourite. But yeah, it bodes very well if Kurzel can go on to Assassin's Creed next year with Fassbender, with Cotillard, together again. Maybe
Jeremy Irons
finally, and Brendan Gleeson.
Maybe
finally. We'll have a good video game movie. Finally,
we've been crying out for one.
If this crew of people can't make it work, then nobody can. Yeah, highly recommended.
It's one of the most visually stunning but incomprehensible films I've ever seen. Joe?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Shakespeare. It's always been the same. Like when I watched Hamlet and everything, it's you can follow the story, but it's just the monologues, you know, the extra little bits. If you haven't really studied it or focused on it, like I don't think it's going to detract too much. It's just like little odd moments where you're kind of out of it for a bit, then back into it, you know. But yeah, film had stunning cinematography, really, like, truly. I mean, that the end scene with the orange and the red was really nice, and I'm just really curious to see the other adaptations now, to see how they kind of measure up. You know, like there's the Orson Welles one, there's the Polanski one, and there's been some comparisons to how they work. Like Polanski's is more grittier, this one's got more expressive cinematography, blah blah blah. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and if I ever get into Shakespeare more, I'll definitely revisit it.
So while we may not know much about Shakespeare, we've got somebody who does, somebody who studied it at A level. One of our friends, Tabitha Peverley. She says, on the whole, the film is a wonderful cinema experience. The music always helps set the scene and helps create the tension that the film needs. The film is rather artistic in style, and in my opinion that works because the adaptation, because the dialogue gets quite heavy at times, whether it be in Shakespearean language, and not everyone will understand, of course we didn't, and be able to translate what it means into modern language. But by looking at the shots, you get a basic understanding of what's happening in the film. The performances by the entire cast are absolutely amazing, and paired with the setting and music of the film, it's one of those films where you get caught up in the emotion of it all. I cried once or twice. There are times when it gets a bit bloody and violent, like when even if you're not a big fan of Shakespeare, I think you should go see this film. I think it's just simply a stunning piece of film. At times I honestly believe that I was sat in a theatre watching it and got a strong urge to give a round of applause at the end. Don't worry, I didn't. But yeah, one of the best adaptations of a Shakespeare play in ages. But that's a good review. I'm very thankful for that, because it's good to have somebody
study Shakespeare,
an expert a relative expert compared to us because we know nothing. But thank you very much for that. So I think the takeaway is that it is stunning.
Yeah.
It's just
so nice to look. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Just go and treat your eyes for a bit, yeah.
It's much better than a lot of stuff that's been out recently. You know, it's
as
fantastic.
is often the case.
You can, even though you don't maybe not understand the whole of what's going on, like dialogue wise, you can tell through the expressions of the lead actors and the supporting cast, just like they are conveyed.